Hi, everyone. Welcome to Conversations with Nicole. Today, my guest is Carl Wockner, and this is how he describes himself. One-man band, live looper, sometimes golf. I describe him as unbelievably talented. I had the pleasure of seeing him perform during a conference in Nashville, so I just knew I had to get him on the show. He is from Australia, and he is shaking up the world of music and performing as a live looper. He's won several awards, including Musician of the Year at the Livewire Prestige Awards in 2021. He released his debut album, Crayon Days, in 2013. In 2015, he received the top honor at the International Acoustic Music Awards. I really hope you enjoy today's conversation. Let's get started. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Conversations with Nicole. I'm delighted to have as my guest today, Carl Wockner. He is from Australia, but calls Nashville home now as well. I had the opportunity to see him live in Nashville not too long ago at a conference, and he is amazing. He is a live looper. Carl, something I had never seen before until I saw you on the stage. You are phenomenal. Tell folks a little bit about yourself and exactly what is a live looper.
Yeah, thanks. And I'm glad we met. Yeah, live looping's weird. It's been around for like 30 years, right? And basically, or maybe more, but it's basically just recording stuff on stage and then playing it back. So the technology's got better. But most people, I'm sure, are familiar with Ed Sheeran. But before him, there was a lot of people who did it. It just wasn't like a household name kind of thing. So until he came along, what people thought they heard was backing tracks, like pre-recorded backing tracks and stuff. But yeah, what I do, like there's nothing recorded. I walk out on stage with my pedals and we create. So yeah, basically I just hit a button and I'll beatbox and then I'll play some guitar parts, some little bass parts and make noises and tambourine and whatever, and we'll just kind of build all the sounds in a band. And then I'll be able to I can kind of break it up into a couple of chunks, so I can start certain chunks of sounds and start and stop them. And yeah, it just turns into this really kind of dynamic, like it's almost an instrument in itself, you know. I can kind of figure my way around it, but it's a journey, definitely.
It's definitely a journey. I mean, it's very impressive to watch you in action. That's live looping is not necessarily, though, how you started with your music. I know you started when you were younger with some instruments, but you also loved golf and actually looked to maybe do that in college and go pro. So you had a lot of different dynamics going on when you were younger. Talk about that.
Yeah, I studied teaching of all things. So when I started playing music, it was just in school, like probably everybody else. And you just get into a school band and you jam out, and you might get really lucky and make $30 playing at somebody's birthday party on the weekend. Right. But yeah, I wonder if it's the same. I actually really wonder if it's the same for other bands if they start like this. But yeah, I was the guitarist. I was just the guitarist. I'd sing along. I remember just being a kid, like harmonizing to a lot of stuff in the like songs in the car and whatever. But yeah, so we had a band at school. I played a little drums and some bass and some guitar, and you know, we just kind of jammed out. And then it was after school that then I went to college or university, and I did my teaching degree. So I got a Bachelor of Teaching. This is in Australia. Yeah. And while I was getting my degree, I was gigging outside of school. So we started in like a trio, like we had kind of a band in school, and then one of the members left the town, right? And they went to the capital city or they went somewhere, and then we're like, okay, I guess we're a trio now. And then, you know, oh, okay, two of us are sharing the singing and we don't have a bass player or whatever. And then we don't have a drummer and somebody else is going to drum for us. And then, you know, we're all still figuring this out. We've been playing in bands for years, but we're all 18 and whatever. But basically the short version of that story is it boiled down to me and one other guy. And over the course of time, I would share the lead singing roles with this other member. But now we're a duo. So it was just me and a drummer. And so we played like pubs and clubs and stuff around my hometown, Bundaberg. It's a tiny town in Australia, for years, and kind of put bands together. And then I'd play solo stuff and write songs and whatever. And it wasn't until I moved to the Sunshine Coast, which is kind of more of a second home. My birth home is Bundaberg, but you know, where we kind of base in Australia is the Sunshine Coast. So yeah, I just did a lot more solo gigs. And the climate for music is a little different, metaphorically, in Australia, with noise restrictions and things. So you just find a lot of artists try to make fewer people sound bigger, if that makes sense. So I started doing that with a kick drum and, you know, tambourines on my feet and whatever. And I just kind of boiled down to a solo one-man band kind of thing. And yeah, maybe
perfect to go into live looping. That's sort of evolved right there.
Yeah, it just kind of went straight in, and I guess I've been looping for probably maybe like 15 years now. It feels like a long time, but it's funny. I do a lot of stuff online, and like a lot of TikTok stuff, and people still like, even like what you said. That's the first time you've even seen it, and it's technology that's been around for a long time, and I think a lot of people subconsciously have seen it, but haven't noticed, or it's been background noise or whatever. But yeah, it wasn't until Ed Sheeran came around that people understood what I was doing. But so many people go, "Oh, you're just copying it. Ed Sheeran must be a big influence for you." I'm like,
no.
I'm like, I love Ed Sheeran, but I'm feeling but so is a lot of other people. But you know, it's just like saying, "Oh, you like drums? You know, you must really love Dave Grohl." It's like, well, yeah, I love Dave Grohl, but drums are a whole other thing. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's kind of the evolution of how I got into looping, and it works really well because especially in today's like economy and logistically for bands, it's really hard to.
You're just there. You don't have to worry about nobody showing up that's in your band. You are the band, and you're there.
That's right. All I have to worry about is the airlines not losing my luggage, and that's pretty much it. There's a decent amount of worry there. But
I was gonna say that's definitely a worry in this day and time.
Yeah.
You're received well wherever you go. So talk a little bit about that.
I mean, I'm just lucky that I get to travel. Travel is, to me, like. There's no better word than worldly. Like you meet people from different cultures and different countries and see how they operate and see how they live, and it's crazy to think how similar humanity is and how polar opposite we are depending on and I mean, I haven't, in the scheme of things, even traveled a whole lot. I've been to a handful of countries. I mean, this year we were in Spain, Portugal, and Morocco, and then Australia and Mexico. And so that's just this year. But that's, you know, I mean, a lot of Americans have been to Mexico and seen even just a difference, you know, a different language, you know, is pretty huge, a different way that they operate. But going somewhere like, you know, Spain and Morocco, like being in Africa, like that was a first for me. That was totally eye-opening. But I feel like the more that you travel and the more that you meet people from different walks of life, after you break down the language barrier, most people are really similar. Like they just want food, they want shelter, they want good conversation, they want company, and they want to enjoy their life. And like, you know, and it's funny to see like different variations of what that life is like when you don't have regular roads, or most cars aren't, you know, super reliable. There's doors falling off them and stuff. Like, it's crazy, but it just gives you a different perspective. And I feel like it really makes you sort of step back and appreciate moments that you do have that would otherwise be looked over.
You know what, though, I hear you saying, though, is really, though, no matter where you are and no matter people's circumstances, music is a universal language and people enjoy it and love it. So when you're on the stage, no matter where they are in their walks of life or where they're from, they're enjoying what you're doing on stage, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, it's funny because I didn't actually say that, but that is actually where I was going with that. I didn't even.
For you.
But yeah, of course, music.
Next time.
I know. Yeah, culture, like the culture, creative arts, dance, imagery, music, painting, like it's everywhere. Like people respond differently to music. And it's crazy when you play, I speak English. I don't speak any other languages apart from hello and goodbye and thank you or whatever. But, I'm singing songs in English in a country that does not speak English. It's appreciated still nonetheless, and it's beautiful.
That's cool. That's a very cool thing to experience that. And to be the one providing the entertainment, the music that people are relating to, no matter where you go. What do you do to grow and expand upon that? You just make it look so easy, but there's a trick to it. There's an art to it. You've worked hard to make it happen, to make it look so easy.
Yeah, it's tough. It's hard. It's actually hard, but it's also really easy. It's so strange to try to.
It is, to me, I feel like it's strange to even get you to describe how it works, because as I watched you, I thought, okay, he just said, now we're going to go act like people are clapping, and you record that, and then you go, okay, and now people are doing this, and now we've got this going, and I was like, how did he even remember all the things that he just said? And then you put it together and it was glorious. So that's just not a skill that you go, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm good at it overnight. That takes talent and work.
Yeah, it's a process. It's like, I feel like anything else, you could do, I don't know why I'm relating this to rocket science, but let's relate it. Okay. Like, it's like, okay, today we're doing rocket science, and it's like, how do we do this? And it's like, well, let's look at the process on how this is the process on how to do it. Yeah. So like whenever you've recorded, like even the most like articulate functions and procedures and stuff, they have a kind of a linear way of how you would approach that. And looping is, even though it's really creative, there's different ways you can do it, but there's certain procedures that end up with the result that you want. So like for me, it's what things get recorded first, and then what things get recorded second and third and whatever. And so usually I like to, and then it's talent after those things, right? Because then it's like, okay, how much, mostly looping is just rhythm. Music, like it's about staying in time with the track that you're creating. So if you have bad rhythm, you're unable to it just sounds like all the members of the band are playing a little bit out of time, and it just gets chaotic because it's the same member of the band playing a little out of time a lot. So rhythm is everything. But so that's why I like to lay down like a beat, so I'll beatbox and then I'll hit the guitar and I'll kind of create that beat, and then I'll lay down acoustic guitar parts. Yeah. And then I'll lay down, and it's different every song. Sometimes I'll do it a different way, but then I'll add some harmonies. And then I might add some extra like flavor, I call it. It's like, claps, or it's tambourine, or it's little intricate guitar bit that's kind of the cream, and then combined. But basically when combined, it sounds amazing. Combined, it sounds huge, and it sounds like a full band. But ultimately, it's just a lot of little parts of me going, no, 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 no. Hey. Like just doing like a really simple little bit, but in time. And then apart from that, it just comes down to my decision, which I guess that's the muscle that you have to work over and over. Which that's the thing that, apart from your hands and all that, it's like the decision of what to do when. Because anybody can play a bass line, but it's like to play a bass line to match with the beat of that song, to then know that I'm going to possibly put these three things on top of the bass line, and I don't want the bass to compete with those three elements in the future. So you're laying down a bass line thinking about three different other things that you're going to add to this track that you don't want the bass to take too much control over. Yeah. So all of those are the things that is kind of tricky about it. But to practice, it's just, you just got to play a lot. So I'm lucky in a situation, being in Nashville. I don't do too many like big shows in Nashville, but what I do is there's one or two venues here that I'll play at. One of them's Assembly Food Hall. Some people might have seen me with the videos that I play there. But it's just there's a couple of great spots that I've got really good relationships with the bookers of those places, and there's a big element of an off-the-cuff nature for it. So it's where I take requests of originals or covers or whatever, and people will like request 2 different songs, and I have to like live, and then I have to mash those 2 songs together.
Oh God!
So it's just a gig of just almost nonstop. Oh, how about Frank Sinatra and Wonderwall? Okay, let's figure it out. And so I did what I did. So I do what I did at the show that you saw me, and usually get the crowd a little more involved. So I can. It's
that just you describing that. I'm thinking, how in the world do you think about 2 totally different songs and mesh them together to make music and to make it sound?
Okay.
Well, that's great.
So here it is. This is how you do it.
Okay.
It's not a secret. It's just a process, like anything else. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you get with the process. So, and I bring the crowd involved because I also don't want to be up on the stage, like thinking audibly, going, oh, should I put? So I figure if I speak to the crowd and say, hey, guys, let's put this bass line down, then I'm kind of bringing them along. On a side note, one of my pet frustrations with live looping is, I mean, it's really accessible. Like anybody can try it and do it. And there's a lot of people
who do it well though, like you do, Carl. So come on.
No, well, that's it. And that's also like singing. Everybody can sing. Not everybody can sing well. So same deal with looping. But the thing with looping is like a lot of people, like, I get bored listening to a lot of live loopers. Like not everybody. Some people are great, but like a lot of people, you know, for a minute, and then they play a kind of okay guitar part, and then they try to do a beat that's just too beyond them, and then they just kind of screw it up. And then meanwhile, it's been 3 or 4 minutes, and the song hasn't started yet. And that's just, I'm just paranoid about that. So over the years, I've just developed ways of it not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the process of a mashup is really, you got 2 songs, so you can't literally play 2 songs at the same time. So one song has to be the music song, and so you start a song and then you mash, like one's got to be the mashie and one's got to be the masher, right? And so you got to pick the song.
G-rated, PG, or R-rated?
Yeah, that's right. So there's one song that would be like one that I did yesterday was Michael Jackson and Justin Timberlake, right?
Oh.
So, and I didn't really know any Justin Timberlake songs, so I put Cry Me a River on. I just knew kind of the chorus, whatever. So I should know a Justin Timberlake song, but at the time I didn't think one.
Judgment. I can't remember who sings what. So
So it was Michael Jackson, right? Billie Jean. But
you know him.
Even if it wasn't a Justin Timberlake song, Billie Jean, bum 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 bum, like it's got a really strong, significant bass line. So it's like it has to be that song. Whereas if it was another song that had like a real serious hook or a really serious like musical part, that would be the song, you know. And then you just end up, and so, and then the hard bit, the fun bit is when it all like I've kind of layered a few things up, and I've built this big loop, and then I'll sing verse chorus of one song, and then I'll kind of sing the chorus of the second song, and then I always leave one track on my looper blank, and so in the middle of a mashup, I'll pick part of that chorus and part of that chorus, and it's like I'm trying to remember what it was, but Billie Jean cries rivers or something. Like it was like Billie Jean is not. I can't remember what it was, but
that's impressive.
You know,
one complete song, but to take 2 and put together and mash it up, as you said.
Yeah.
Wow. Right.
Well, so that's my practice. Is basically ultimately where it comes back down to is like that keeps me like really limber for looping on stage. So it makes me really confident with
Yeah.
like, I mean, you on my channels and stuff of people listening, like you can see all of my pedals and all of my setup and all of that, and it's pretty big. Like there's a lot of pedals and things around on the floor. And so I'm confident enough that like I don't have to look down most of the time to know which pedal. And they're only a few inches apart on the floor, and it's like 20 of them. So like I can kind of hit pedals and start, stop stuff. But that's only because I've been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
And also I'm throwing all of these curveballs at me while I'm trying to, to me, it's almost like I'm trying to balance on a balance beam. How much better is your practice if you're trying to balance, like if you're just trying to be a really good balancer?
Yeah.
You could just balance on a balance beam, but to be really good, what if you get somebody to throw tennis balls at you while you're balancing on a balance beam? So, yeah, that's my metaphorical tennis balls is people giving me random mashups to just do on stage, and you have to, be able to do it.
I mean, I just think you're incredible. Okay, but I have to ask you this. So mashing it up. Now, in the South, mash is used, there people mash potatoes in America, but in the South, you mash a button, but mash it. That's how mash is used. I don't know if you know that, but it's just a word that we use differently. Now we use mash. You mash your music. You mash it up.
Yeah, I say mashups. Some people say smash ups.
I love it.
Well, I'm glad you do, because some people
like a normal
different
term,
words for
live looping, or did you make that up?
No, live looping. That's real.
The mashups. Is that a term you did, or is that
no? That's not. That's been around for a long time. I think there's a lot of different terms for it.
Yeah,
but one thing I don't know why it drives me crazy is when people call them smash ups.
Smash ups. No,
I don't. I mean, it makes sense. But I don't actually know why I hate it. But I just don't like it.
Keep mashing, girl. Keep mashing.
Like, you don't want to smash them because then they're going to break.
Right. You mash.
Right? Mash.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, mash up. Yeah.
Hey, listen, I know you like to golf. Because I love how you start off. One man band, live looper, sometimes golf.
Yeah. Mostly golf. Mostly actually golf. Yeah.
Okay.
I played golf today. Yeah. I haven't for like 6 weeks. I mean, I hardly did. I've only played a couple of times over the last 6-8 weeks. But yeah, I had to get out today. I've been traveling a lot, been back in Nashville for a few days.
Yeah.
And today was the day. And I started out with an eagle. So that was pretty cool.
That's nice.
So that's for anybody that doesn't know golf, that's playing a hole 2 strokes better than, or like two shots better than you, that is appropriately good for that hole. So I hit a good drive, and then I hit
Nice.
Yeah.
And you have a wife and how many children?
Yep. Wife and 2 kids. Yeah, they're back in Australia at the moment.
Oh, they are.
Yep.
Do they travel with you sometimes, or I guess
sometimes? Yeah.
Yeah.
As often as we can. Usually in the summer holidays and stuff, when we can kind of pack up in a van and all go together and stuff. But yeah, they're 8 and 10 now, so they're pretty deep in school, and and they've traveled around a lot this year, so we're just kind of chilling for a little bit.
Do they have any interest in music at all?
Yeah, a little bit actually. I mean, they're still kind of, they have to be interested in it. I think that's the same with all kids. Like for any parents that have kids looking to get into music, I think the most important thing for kids under 12 is to just enjoy it. Like, anything you can do to make them enjoy it. The moment it becomes a chore is forget it. Like,
it's true.
Forget about it. You can beat it like a dead horse, but like they're going to hate it. They're just going to not want to do it. And that's not a relationship that you should have with something like music.
Right. Obviously you love it and enjoy it. That's why you're so successful at what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, it's been waves of enjoying it. And look, that's not even to say that professionals don't go through those
Sure.
enjoyment curves and stuff too, because like I even wrote a song about it, about musician, like when you do something like this, like I consider myself to have one of the best jobs in the world. It's amazing, right? I get to travel, I get to perform for people, I get to make people's day better.
Oh, you do.
Right,
Yeah.
assuming they like the music.
Yes.
So I get to make people's day better, right?
Yes.
So that's the best job. To me, that is the best job. But it's not the best all the time. And so I wrote a song about it more as a shout out to myself and other musicians and creative artists. But like, not every day, you're allowed to have bad days, and a week where you're just like, what am I doing? Why is this happening? And frustrated and, whatever. But ultimately when you do something you love, sometimes you feel like you don't deserve to have a bad day, or you don't deserve to feel like I don't want to do it today because other people would kill to do what you do. But everybody's allowed to have bad.
You're human. That's just normal.
Yeah.
It's not always like up here like that,
Yeah, that's right. But they like music. My daughter plays a little piano, and my son's just started learning drums. And the drum teacher came back and told me who was the. Oh, sorry, my wife told me who was the drum teacher, and it was a friend of mine who played drums for me, who's an incredible drummer back in Australia, Max Sportelli. He's super cool, and it's weird having these full circle moments. It's we were playing before we had kids, and now we have kids and whatever. And then he happens to be the drum teacher for.
That is very cool.
So
okay, cool. You're known for these awesome red rim glasses that you have on. I was looking at all your pictures. I was like, oh, there's Carl and those red glasses. Oh, and those red glasses. So these are like your staple. I mean, like they're amazing. You can't change them now, right?
No, I cannot change them. I knew that maybe 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Hang on, 2002. I mean, I'm not going to do the math. It was a long time ago. So I put out an album. I think I was recording it or whatever. And at the time, like this was back in Australia, I would get a 2 for deal on glasses. So you go into the optometrist and it's like 2 for $199 or whatever the deal was, right? So and I would just get, and I had the insurance that we had, the health insurance in Australia would just give us a rebate, you could spend $200 on glasses and there's no out of pocket. So even if I needed them or not, I would still get, you got to stick it to the man. So I would still get 2 pairs of glasses. So I would just get different colors, and I'm like, oh, let me get the Harry Potter ones, and then let me get, big black rim ones or whatever. And then I just got some red ones. And of the 2 glasses that you get, one of them is way more comfort than the other. I don't understand how that works. Like everybody's head seems to be shaped entirely different, I guess, but whatever. So anyway, the red ones were comfy. So I started wearing the red ones a lot. And then I did an album release. Sorry, it was an EP release. And anyway, I showed up with a different pair of glasses. And every second person was like, and I was only wearing them for like 6 months before this.
Yeah.
But they're like, where's the red glasses? And I'm like, okay, well, this is great because I hate these ones that I was wearing, like the other ones because they were uncomfy. So I wore the red ones. And then from then on, every time I got the 2 for deal or I got the new glasses, I'm like, well, I just got to get red ones. That's the only thing. I can get any shape. It just has to be red. You know how hard it is?
Change the color.
Oh, it's great. And weirdly enough, I'm colorblind. So, I mean, I can see red, but yeah, there's some apps you can check out on your phone to like see what people with colorblindness can see. And it's really weird because I show people like on my phone, I'm like, oh yeah, this is what I see. And they're like, oh, so your glasses are like mustardy brown to you. I'm like, well, no, they look red to me because that's how so of all colors, like red's like something that I don't see as vividly as so many other people do. And maybe it's why to me it's not standing out as much as what everybody else sees.
Yeah. They always like love the glasses, every picture, Carl's got to always wear the red glasses now.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's right.
so where can people find you? I mean, YouTube. Tell me where people can go and check you out.
So good old, age of technology. You can everywhere, literally everywhere. TikTok, Twitter, like all the socials, YouTube. Um, I will say with my stuff, I don't know if it's the same for everyone, but with my stuff, the content's a little different on every platform. So if you are across all of them, there is benefit for my stuff to subscribe to all of them. Like, so, Instagram, Facebook, like TikTok, I do a lot more short form stuff. YouTube, I do a lot more long form stuff. And I also do, for anybody that's interested in looping or technology, tech stuff, or just budding musicians, I do some courses and just some things on there. And I do have a live looping course as well online, so you can check that out. But yeah, it's just my name. I believe I'm the only one that's out there. So if you just Google my name or just look up on any of the socials, I'm right there.
You were easy to find. Easy to find.
Yeah.
It was great.
Not hiding.
So what's next for you?
Well, I guess just carry on. I've been doing a lot. I'm trying to rinse. I feel like I've kind of boiled down a pretty good process as an artist now, and I'm still independent, so I still rely very heavily, in fact, almost exclusively on people who like my music to help spread my music around to friends and family and new listeners and stuff. And that's the same with every independent artist. That's all we have. Right. So if your listeners would do that, would be amazing. Or on the flip side, if there's a listener who happens to have a spare $1 million who wants to help promote one song.
Okay, well, I get a cut of it if they get it off this, because I'm struggling too.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll cut you in on the back end.
If I get you that $1 million.
Yeah. So I feel like my little public service announcement that I say at a lot of shows is anybody doing anything independently, like what you're doing, what I'm doing. It's all we have is people word of mouth spreading the news about it, and you don't have to pick all the podcasts, you don't have to pick all the YouTube content, you don't have to pick all the independent artists, just pick one person or one or two things and just tell people about those things. But yeah, what's next for me? I'm trying to do a lot of little things now. So I'm doing some looping videos, I'm trying to do a lot more online content. So I'm really trying to carve out part of my day and my week to just constantly post videos of me looping and of setups and pedals and guitars. And actually, I've got a guitar that I'm going to do a little review of later, which is kind of exciting. Definitely new music. Definitely overdue for some new music now. I put an EP out last year, and that is kind of weird, kind of clunky. There was a few logistical things that screwed up in the process of that. So I was a little bit bitter at the logistical things that happened. So I haven't been writing for a while. But yeah, this year I'm going to get to it, and then 2024 is going to definitely see some new music, and definitely a lot more shows. Well, global. Actually, so Greece, Egypt, Israel, and Turkey, and then Australia. Definitely a few bigger shows in Australia. A lot more dates in the US, and then Mexico, and then we'll see.
Well, I hope that I get an opportunity to see you again live at some point, because I just absolutely love seeing you perform. You're an amazing artist, so talented. I still can't really wrap my head around the process of how you make it happen, but it is so good, so good. And you know what? What?
The best thing is you don't have to. Music, you don't have to. It is nice to know stuff, but it's also nice to just not know what's happening.
Yes.
And just go, it still sounds great, love it,
And you know what? Yeah. You are right. You make people's days brighter and better and just so much more enjoyable after watching you perform. And so, keep doing what you do, because it matters. It makes a difference. It's fun. It just makes you feel good. And music is so much the universal language that just brings us all together. And we need more of it. We need more. We need more Carl Wockner and live looping in the world and mashing up.
That's right. That's right. More mashups.
More mashups. More mashups.
More mashups.
Well, listen, I really appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for being a part of my conversations and sharing your love for live looping and music and what you're doing. I hope I get an opportunity, like I said, to see you again sometime.
It'll happen. We'll definitely.
Hey, you're in Nashville. I will be back in Nashville, and I will find you if you are performing. I promise that for sure.
Make sure I'm here.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'll probably make sure I'm not where you're at, and then while you're in Nashville.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm following you on all of your socials and keeping in contact that way. So hopefully our paths will cross again. Carl, thanks so much for being my guest today.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks so much for reaching out. It's great.
Perfect. And that will do it for this edition of Conversations with Nicole. Until I see you again, I hope you have a great day.